I'm connected up with the young people all over the country. And there's a thread leading to an eruption. And Crown Heights began the whole thing. You know, the Jews are second to the police when it comes to feelings of dislike among black folks. The police. Believe me, the police. I know the police know me. And they turned that whole place into an occupied camp with the 71st Precinct as the overseers. And don't think that everything's okay in that precinct among them officers either. Don't think that. Don't think that. You know, the media has always painted me as a bad guy. That's okay. I'm a good guy to pick on. Their viewers don't like me either. They really don't like me because of my relationship with the young people in the city. You know, it always amazes me how the city fathers, the power brokers, could continue to deny what's happening. And it is just getting intolerable for me to continue to watch this small, arrogant group of people continue to get this kind of preferential treatment. They sit on the school board, a board of 9. They got 4 members, and their kids don't even go to public school. So that's the kind of arrogance I'm talking about. So, I am not eagerly awaiting any kind of coming together of our people. Because they owe. I don't want it, they can have it. They owe me first. Like my grandmother used to say, help the bear. You see me and the bear in a fight? Don't help me, help the bear. So, I am not going to advocate any kind of coming together and healing of America and all that shit. You kidding? You kidding? Just because I could come in here, have a nice lunch with you. Looks like I got the same kind of abilities everybody else in here. But it's not that way, because I know by tonight time, it could all change for me. But that's what keeps me going. Today and each day.
What is my goal? My goal is not to get across the message that we plan on working things out by integrating our two things. No. You see, my religion teaches me that the more I understand about my own religion, the more I can respect you. But the respect that my religion teaches me has nothing to do with understanding you. See, if the only way I'm going to respect you is to understand you, we got a problem. We are different. We believe we should be different. Now, when the Rebbe said to the mayor, we're all one people, I think what he meant was that common denominator that we're all the children of God and the respect that we give each other under that banner. But that does not mean that I have to invite you to my house for dinner. Of course, I can't go back to your house for dinner because you're not going to give me kosher food. So, I had one black say, well, I'll bring in kosher food. No, I can't use your ovens, I can't use your dishes. It's not a matter of buying the food. It's buying the food, it's preparing it a certain way. I can't use your dishes, I can't use your ovens.
The DA came back with no indictment, so our only cost was to ask for a special prosecutor who comes from the governor who's been hostile or to sue civilly. We went into civil court, asked for an order to show cause. The judge granted it and gave us a deadline of 2 days. The driver left the country. Nobody asked, why would he run? If you or I were in an accident, we had to go into civil court. Why is this man above the law? So they said, well, he's in Israel. So I said, well, I'll go to Israel to show best efforts. The judge gave us a deadline of Tuesday, which was Yom Kippur. That was the judge's decision, not mine. Got on a plane with ultimatums, flew to Israel, left Monday night, landed Tuesday morning, went to the American embassy so that if this man had any decency at all, he could come to the embassy and receive service, which he did not do. Came back, showed the judge the receipts. The judge said, well, now you made best efforts, so you could go ahead and sue the rabbi or whoever. And we did this not to create a media grandstand. We wanted to show the world, one, that this man ran and he was allowed to run. And two, we wanted to legally be able to go around him to bring whoever into court to establish why and what happened. Came out in the paper, the driver of the other car didn't even have a driver's license. So we dealing with a complete outrage here. We're dealing with a double standard. We're dealing with a situation where blacks do not have equal protection under the law. And the media has been used to castigate us who merely ask for justice rather than castigate those who would kill a kid and walk away like they just stepped on a roach. And as the media contention of the young Jewish scholar, they distorted it and said that my words at the funeral, I preached the funeral, that my words have been used to spar or incite or inspire those young people to kill that Jewish scholar. Well, I wasn't even out there till the day after he died. So there's the media distortion. Nobody's asking, why is this guy in flight? If I was a rabbi, I am a minister, and my driver hit a kid, I would not let the driver leave, and I certainly would give my condolences to the family, do whatever else I could. I don't care what race they are. To this day, the Grand Rebbe has not uttered a word of sympathy or sent a card or a flower or nothing. And he's supposed to be a religious leader. So we are being dealt with contempt. And I don't care how controversial it makes us. I will not be insulted. If you piss in my face, I'm going to call it piss. I'm not going to call it rain. Do you know what happened in August here? I mean, when you read the newspapers, I just wish I could scream to the whole world. They said that the blacks were rioting against the Jews in Crown Heights and that the Jews were fighting back. What can I get you? You sure you don't want anything? Do you know that the blacks who came to riot here were not my neighbors? I don't love my neighbors. I don't know my black neighbors. There is a lady on President Street, Clea. I adore her. She's my girlfriend's next door neighbor. I've had a manicure done in her house. We sit in kibbutz and stuff. But I don't know them. I told you, we don't mingle socially because of the difference of food and religion and what have you here. But the people who live in this neighborhood, they want the same thing out of life that I want. They want to live in a nice house. They all go to work. They couldn't possibly have houses here if they didn't. They normally have two incomes that come in. They want to send their kids to college. They want to live a nice, quiet life. They want to shop for their food and cook their meals and go to their Sunday picnics. But the people who came to riot here were brought here by this famous Reverend Al Sharpton, which I'd like to know who ordained him. And he brought kids here in the summertime. I mean, if you don't have a job and you're hanging out all day, I mean, I wish you could have been here. I wish I would have showed you the New York Times. Unfortunately, it was on page 20. They said they interviewed a young black girl on Utica Avenue, and she said that the guys will make you pregnant at night and in the morning not know who you are. And I mean, if you're sitting on a front stoop and it's very, very hot and you have no money and nothing to do with your time and somebody says, come on, you want to riot? You know how kids are? The fault lies with the police department. The police did absolutely nothing to stop it.
I was sitting in the front of my house when bottles were being thrown, and a sergeant told 500 policemen with helmets and clubs and guns to duck. I said, "You're telling them to duck? What should I do? I don't have a club or a gun." They should have stopped it, put it. This kid from Australia, his parents were Holocaust survivors. He didn't have to die. What happened on Utica Avenue was an accident. Jewish people do not drive vans into 7-year-old boys. You want to know something? Black people don't drive vans into 7-year-old boys. Hispanic people don't drive vans into 7-year-old boys. It's just not done. People like Jeffrey Dahmer, maybe they do it. But average citizens do not go out and try to deliberately kill 7-year-old boys. It was an accident. But it was allowed to fester and to steam, and people like Sharpton and the likes of him. Yeah, don't you see? These people have to do this. People aren't going to contribute to their causes. Give them money unless they're out there rebel rousing. But the people who live in this neighborhood, I talked to my black neighbors. They were hiding in their houses just like I was. They were scared. I mean, we were really, really scared. I was really, really frightened. I mean, I had 500 policemen outside of my house. I had mounted police, but I couldn't go out because I couldn't come back after dark. I couldn't meet anybody for dinner. My children, I told you, thank God, were all out of town. My son was in Russia. The coup was the exact same day as the riot. And I hadn't heard from him. I was very concerned about him. He was in Russia running a summer camp. And when I did hear from him, I told him, "Stay in Russia. You'll be safer where you are." And he did. And he was.
I work as assistant chaplain in downstate Kings County Hospital. And they asked me if Yankel Rosenbaum had had an autopsy, because in the Jewish religion, you're not allowed to have an autopsy. And I found out that he did. And I saw a Jewish man, a Russian man, sitting in a room down by the morgue. And he told me that his mother had committed suicide because she was terrified. And we were sitting in a room down by the morgue trying to get his mother not to have an autopsy. And he told me that his mother had come from Russia 11 years ago because of the hardships there. And that when this thing happened in Crown Heights, it was just too painful. It was like everywhere you go, there's Jew haters. He said it's like you're trapped. And he said that he woke up in the morning because a doorbell rang. And he went into his mother's room. And the window was open, which he thought was strange because she was afraid of the cold, even in the summertime. And he said he looked out the window, and there was blood all over the pavement because she had landed head first on the concrete side of the apartment building. And the next day we knew it was really getting serious because Reverend Al Sharpton came down, Sonny Carson came down, start making pogroms.